In today's episode, Chef Kendra and Chef Yossel show us how to make a delicious brown veal stock using Prairie Street's veal breast pocket bone-in.
Right?
Amazing. Perfect. Super balanced. Golden brown and delicious.
Hi everyone, welcome to Prairie Street Culinary Kitchen. Today we're working with two amazing chefs. First we're starting with Chef Kendra, who is a fan favorite, who's been on many of our videos, and our culinary producer. And today we have a new special guest, a rock star in the culinary world, Yossel. Thank you for joining us today.
Pleasure to be here.
Just to give you a quick intro, Yossel's one of those global chefs that just literally goes everywhere with private chefs, custom dishes, any locality you've been to, and we're really delighted to have you on the channel and introducing some of your great techniques and products. And we want to change it up here a little. Instead of just doing solo videos, is to have a little more collaboration and people bring together. And since these two are the professionals and I'm not, I'm just here for the intro, and probably I'll show up for the tasting, which I usually do because I just can't take smelling the product and looking at it and not tasting it. So I think these two are going to take it from here. I'm going to step out and you're going to see something amazing.
Thank you, Elliot. Chef Yossel, welcome.
Thank you.
To the Prairie Street Culinary Kitchen. We are so excited. Elliot has been talking about you nonstop for a long time, and it has been such a pleasure even just preparing for this shoot together and like this time together. And I am psyched to be working with you.
Same here.
So welcome.
Thank you.
Today, Chef Yossel and I are going to be making a brown veal stock using the veal breast pocket bone-in. You work with Prairie Street's meat frequently, right?
Yes.
Have you ever worked with the veal?
I have not. This is the first time, and I'm very, very excited about it.
Excellent, excellent. So you'll notice that, well, I don't need to tell you this, I'll tell these guys this, but quintessential to Prairie Street's products is like this amazing meat cap and marbling. And we all know that fat does what?
Flavor.
Totally. So we are going to separate this. Chef Yossel is going to work with the veal breast pocket part of it, and I'm going to be working with the bones. And the bones, we're going to show you how to do two different kinds of stock, a brown stock and a white stock. But before we get to that, we're going to break it down.
Let's do it. We're going to start by flipping it over. So here are the rib bones. Here's the chine bone. So in general, when you're butchering, always a knife kind of comes second. Start with your hand. You want to kind of figure out where the the lines are, where things kind of separate. So we're going to start here. It kind of pops open over here. So this is our veal breast pocket right here. And as you can see, there's already where the fat is separating. So we're just going to go ahead and kind of go right along there and kind of just break it apart. You could use a little knife to separate it just like that.
And I'm just going to make one quick note that the veal breast pocket bone-in and also our veal breast pocket boneless, we have both of those available to you. We slice the pockets for you so you don't have to worry about that. You'll see in a lot of our videos that we talk to you guys about using the bones, using the ends, making things like stock. Now we're going to show you how to finally do it.
All right. So
you move with such ease.
Here we are done. We got our bones right here.
Excellent.
And we got our veal breast pocket right here, separated.
Perfect. I am going to be cleaning up these bones with the help of Chef Yossel, and then I'm going to be using half of these to make our white stock and then half of these to make our brown stock. Let's get cooking. All right, so today we're going to be making our classic, super traditional brown veal stock using the bones that we have extracted from the veal breast pocket bone-in. So, what the heck is a brown stock? There are two kinds of stock, as you all know. There's a brown stock and there is a white stock. Both of them are classic and French. The brown stock gets its dark color from the roasting of the bones and from the sauteing and browning of the vegetables, as well as using some tomato paste and some kosher red wine. Chef Yossel, what are some things that our audience can use the brown stock for?
So brown stock is great for soups, for sauces, really anywhere where you're cooking with some sort of liquid.
Yeah.
Throwing in some stock is a great substitute. It will help with the flavor. A really fun example is just using it actually instead of water in cholent. In cholent, we all make it every week, so throwing some beef stock will kind of oomph and give it more depth of flavor. So definitely try that.
Yeah, definitely. And so one of the reasons why I love making veal stock as opposed to beef stock, and beef stock is great, right? Like we always have bones lying around and
Sure.
making them is perfect. But the veal stock, because the veal bones have more collagen than the beef, it's like this super unctuous, like rich, deep, great mouthfeel. Like it's just a beautiful, beautiful stock.
It's almost like buttery.
Totally, exactly.
It coats your mouth.
It absolutely does. That's exactly right. And it has so much more nutrition in it. So for people who like to drink bone broth, like awesome. So
Great
let's,
stuff.
it is totally great stuff. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that we want to do is get these bones into a super hot oven. We have our oven set to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm just going to give them a quick brush down with some olive oil. And you'll notice too, I'm not seasoning anything, because with stock, as opposed to like if you're making a broth for a soup directly, I don't want too much salt because I want to be able to control that. And you'll see as we go through the process, there's going to be a lot of condensing of flavors as the broth reduces down and reduces down, reduces down. We don't want anything to end up being too salty. So extra virgin olive oil is on. We're going to put this into our pre-set oven at 450 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30 to 45 minutes. We're just looking for color. Remember, I say it every single time, every oven is slightly different, so know your oven. This one runs pretty accurate because it's a pretty high-end oven. So 450 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30 to 45 minutes. Okay. I'll get this for you. Excellent. Okay. All right, so continuing on with our stock, we're gonna get some good color on these vegetables. So I'm gonna do a very traditional stock, brown stock, which for that, I actually wanna have some more surface of the vegetables to really get them brown all over. We'll see the difference in the white stock when we do that. But super easy, cut up carrots, leeks, onions, celery, and some shallot. I like shallot because it just has like a softer,
sweeter flavor.
Sweeter flavor. I feel like the onion can like sometimes get like a little overpowering. So I personally cut back on onion. And then a garlic clove just cut in half because everything's going to be discarded at the end. And that aroma is like
Everything's
insane.
better with garlic.
Exactly. So let's go ahead and put in some olive oil. And we'll just start sauteing these up. Nice, hot, heavy bottom skillet or stock pot. I'm actually using a large skillet here, or a large, like more shallow braising pan, because I'm doing kind of half of the amount of the stock. So I'll get this out of the way. Now, this is what we were talking about, is you do not use a mirepoix in your brown stock.
So different people do different things. The traditional method is, as we were saying over here, is with the carrot, the celery, the onion, or the shallot. Some people throw in leeks. Again, it's kind of up to your preference. I personally like to keep it super traditional, just with the actual meat bones and the broth and just the water. And then later on, depending what context I'm using it for, so whether it's a sauce, whether it's a soup, depending what I'm using it for, I'll flavor it accordingly. So if I do want that carrot celery mirepoix, as it's called in French cuisine, I will add that later on.
So would you consider that a foolproof way of like cutting down the work in the kitchen? Because you travel the world a lot, so like you're not going to necessarily bring like a brown stock and a white stock with you. You have one that's like more like a neutral stock.
So you can bring both. A trick if you want to save space in your freezer or fridge is actually reduce your stock all the way, and then when you need it you can just add some water and bring it back up. That will save you a lot of space, so bonus tip there. As far as traveling, you know, different kitchens all over the world have different things and, you know, space-wise, but I'll usually just stick to the straight up bones and water just as a standard rule, just because that's what I know I'll always have.
Yeah. All right, I'm just gonna add in this sliced horizontally garlic clove, just down, just so I can start getting some color on that. You'll notice that the skin is on. It doesn't really matter because we're gonna be discarding all of this stuff anyway. This is just here to add flavor.
I think also very often people add an abundance of, you know, vegetables, and like it almost takes over the flavor. It's really supposed to accent the flavor of the meat and whatnot. So definitely kind of keep your ratios balanced.
That is such a good point, because we do talk about ratios frequently, especially when it comes to like water management, because cooking is water management, but
For sure.
flavoring and adding in something like vegetables as an aromatic is also management as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, good tip. It's nice having a pro in the kitchen. All right, so we're starting to get some nice browning here in the bottom of the pan, which is exactly what we're going for. Our veggies are sweating, which means that they're releasing some of their moisture, and they're starting to get some nice caramelization on them, which is that beautiful golden color that's going to give us some flavor. At
GBD, golden brown and delicious.
Oh my God, I love that.
Rule in the kitchen.
That's so great. Oh, I like that one a lot. GBD, everybody.
GBD.
That's gonna be like a new hashtag. You watch. That's gonna be on Instagram.
Hashtag GBD.
It's gonna be a TikTok thing now. Okay, so we have some good color. We have some good GBD happening in the pan. So now I'm gonna add in our tomato paste, which is another super traditional ingredient. The Italians actually take the tomato paste and they slather the veal bones with it before they roast it. We're just gonna do it more the traditional French style, which is still toasting and caramelizing the tomato paste in our cast iron and then mixing it up with the veggies. Right in the center here. And that's probably enough. I don't want to go too heavy with it. Tomato paste is already concentrated flavor, so we don't need to go too much. Because again, it's that balancing, right?
Sure. And tomato paste, as Chef Kendra was saying, is very concentrated. So the acid and the sweetness will be much more condensed. So definitely keep that in mind when you're adding into your stock.
Yeah. Would you do the honors of adding in our kosher red wine? We're going to be deglazing the pan with some dry Cabernet Sauvignon, kosher, of course. Perfect. So this is now going to be picking up all of that flavor that's stuck to the bottom of the cast iron, the fond, the flavor, the caramelization. And I'm just gonna give it a little stir here and keep it moving. The red wine helps to add some acidity to it, just gently, and obviously all the alcohol is burning off. This is gonna continue to cook. We're gonna turn this off in just a few moments and then let this wait until our veal bones are finished roasting, to which we will then add just a couple more ingredients and then let it sit to become stock. Alrighty, so it's been about 35 minutes. Again, we have those really great ovens, so the roasting of the bones only took about 35 minutes. And as you'll see, drum roll, gorgeous. Oh, they're gonna be so good. And then our mirepoix aromatic mixture with the tomato paste and the red wine is like this incredibly indulgent, reduced down deliciousness. So we're just going to move this stuff to the side, and let's go ahead and put our bones in and get a nice big, oh mama. Now I want to make sure that they're arranged so that way they can all be covered. So I'm just going to flip it. As like the water cooks them, they're going to start like really falling apart. It's part of the braising, stocking process, right? They can go there. Now I want to cover this up with water. So we're just going to add in. All right, so we brought that braising liquid up, the water up. You can see it's already this like amazing color. Just a couple more ingredients. Black peppercorns. I have a lot in my little container here. I don't want to go too crazy with it. Again, it's that balancing of flavor. And then a nice little arrangement of fresh herbs. So I'm doing rosemary, thyme, and oregano. You can see I have it. This is like a fun little tip, but having it on like a string, it makes it kind of like a tea bag. So I can always, people don't like a ton of herby flavor, take it out halfway through. If you do, leave it in the whole time, but instead of trying to like fish out each individual sprig, tie it up, okay? That can go in, and we're going to bring it up to a higher heat, a higher flame. We're gonna let it just kind of approach that like soft boil, and then I turn it down from there.
And just simmer it for a few hours.
Simmer it for about like 4 hours. I can go up to like 6 hours.
Definitely save that meat. It's caramelized. You have great flavor from the tomato, the red wine, the mirepoix. It's all in there. Yeah. So definitely save that meat, and you can shove it in some tacos. You can do a little meat pizza with it. You can throw it in some pasta like a bolognese.
It's a great idea.
Definitely save that meat.
All right, so we're gonna let this happen, and then we'll see you back here in like 4-ish hours before we taste it.
Great.
All right, it has been 4.5, 5 hours.
Yes.
Slowly simmering away. This is our brown veal stock, done with the bones that we had cut off of the veal breast pocket bone in. I can't wait. It just looks... It
smells amazing.
And it looks absolutely gorgeous. So oh wait, hold on. Quality control, Elliot. He always wants to taste. Oh.
Did you ask for me?
There he is.
I always have this canny time. I watched you guys.
Yeah.
I said I brought no value added to standing there because you two were just spitting out gems. But I know when to show up again.
You
and
do.
I think this is the time
This is
to taste, because I would never let this video get published unless I tasted it first.
That's exactly right.
And passed my stamp.
Yes. Well, then please do the honors. Right?
Amazing. Perfect. Super balanced.
I think just the fragrance is amazing.
Yeah.
Alone.
Yeah, you really get the sweetness from the carrots and the vegetables, as well as the herbs, the herbal notes.
Yeah. So we did not add any salt into this.
And it's amazing.
And it's perfectly balanced. You don't need any salt.
Right?
No.
None at all. And even the tomato paste that we had used was not salted. I forgot to mention that earlier, but any of the ingredients that you're going to use, like tomato paste, whatnot, not salted. Super important. And you'll see there's this really kind of like beautiful sheen on the top. Now, I haven't strained it yet. I strained it for our tasting bowls.
Sure.
But that sheen on the top is fat. You can absolutely, after the soup cools down, the fat will solidify. You can skim it off if you want something that's like lower in fat.
Leave it overnight in the fridge.
Yes.
It comes off as a sheet.
It comes right
super
off.
Easy.
Comes right off. Or you can do what I do and I just leave it on because it's just a
equals
little
flavor.
bit, and it's veal fat. And, it's
And
really
is this
good.
something you could freeze and use again, or it should only be done
Absolutely.
fresh?
No.
Chef's tip, actually, freeze it in a ice cube tray. And
Yes.
you can just literally just pop it out whenever you need it.
Yeah.
If you need
Yeah.
a little bit, just...
Yeah, exactly. And
It's a
Or
blow.
if you're intermittent fasting or whatever, you just want like two, you throw them in a pot
Yeah.
real quick and whatever, just...
That's amazing. Fantastic, great to have you on set.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
if you want to experience this, like I'm a pretty good chef, but I'm not in their league. It's basically you start with great meat and you start with technique, and then the combination of the two almost is better or equal or better than anything you would experience in a restaurant, because you're controlling the quality. You know the meat that you started with, how you make that, and really once you do these things, like Yossel's way out there, but what Kendra said before is very accurate. You could take the core components, and as fancy as you want to layer that on top, you can, but if you want to make it simple, we're there for you. On our website, you don't even have to go to YouTube. The products, the videos, the recipes, the tips, we're all there. So we'd love to see you again next Sunday at 2 p.m. during the week for our shorts, and come to our website, experience this meat. You'll never go back once you go to Prairie Street. Yossel, Kendra, you guys are amazing, and love to see you again very soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Subscribe to our channel now and set your notifications so you don't miss our latest recipes and chef-led tutorials. Then head over to prairiestreet.co to shop for your next big meal.